I started making videos on my YouTube channel almost a decade ago because I wanted to talk about toys that I really loved. Toys that just appealed to me and toys that just made me happy. And this is not like a review. This is not going to go in depth on the accuracy or the characters or anything like that. I never watched Power Rangers growing up. I never did. It just wasn't for me. Even as a little kid, I thought Power Rangers was too goofy. That's just the kind of kid I was. I was the kind of kid that refused to dance to the Wiggles back in kindergarten because I thought I was too old for it. That's the kind of kid I was. So when I saw that these guys were led by a little hamster in the show, I was not interested at all. I just thought they looked cool. So I bought the toys of them. I dressed up as the Red Ranger, this exact Ninja Storm Red Ranger, all the way when I was a little kid. It's actually one of my very first memories of being alive, was dressing up as this Red Ranger. Never really watched the show, but the toys, especially Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder toys, and some Mighty Morphin, those were what really, really were in my life. And I loved them. And since I became like an adult collector, I really wanted nicer figures of them. I saw the SH Figuarts Ninja Storm guys, and I was really tempted to get those. But the price just put me off, and I did not get them. But shortly after that, I think these came out around 2016, Bandai started the Legacy Collection for their Power Rangers. And for me, these were perfect. They're not for everybody. And they definitely aren't very accurate to the show that I've already established I did not care about. And they didn't really have, like, the new Lightning ones, they have the actual character faces and the actor likenesses, which I know fans of the show really appreciate, but like I said, didn't watch the show, didn't care about the show. I just liked the big, buff, awesome, suited, helmeted Rangers. The colorful, helmeted guys. Colorful helmeted people and robots were what I really liked growing up. And naturally, Power Rangers falls exactly into that boat. So, yeah, I saw these on the shelf back in 2016. I had just gotten my first job, which means that I had just gotten my first sense of, having my own money to spend. And I bought these three. I bought the Red Ranger, the Yellow Ranger, and the Blue Ranger. Unfortunately, no, they didn't make I think it was the green, the crimson, and the navy. They didn't make them. I really wish they would have. But oh well, we did get the Megazord, which I will show off later. And these are just so cool. They just appeal to me. They feel nice in my hand. They're just some of the nicest action figures I have. I'm not even joking. I got so excited I bumped the camera. But yeah, let's just pose around. I like the poses on the blue and the red too much. Let's keep them back there. Let's just pose around the yellow. Like, it just feels so fluid. It just feels so nice. And yes, I know the sword is already molded in the sheath on the back. I don't care. I just wanted all the accessories on them. And also, I didn't watch the show, so I don't care about accuracy. But yeah, like, he just feels so fluid and nice. And the colors are great. And one thing Bandai always nailed were the helmets. Like, the paint is so crisp. There's no slop. It is so nice and fine and shiny. The helmets on these are perfect. And I just love them. They do have the pins showing on the shoulders, which is a little ugly, but I mean, this just satisfies my soul. I look at this and I think back to only having the big 12-inch walkie-talkie toy of the Yellow Ranger growing up and wanting one that was a little nicer. And this just, oh my gosh. I would have to seriously fall on some hard times to sell this trio of action figures because these just appeal to me on a spiritual level. I love them. They just feel so great. So naturally, I couldn't stop there. I kept going. MMPR wasn't a big part of my life. I had a few toys growing up, and I played some of the Sega Genesis games. But I always really wanted a White Ranger toy. I've talked about this in previous videos. And I love this. I love the Legacy one. He's big, he's buff. Notably, his helmet, the paint is crisp and shiny and glossy. That alone is the reason why I did not buy the Lightning Collection one and replace this. Because the Lightning one, the paint wasn't as crisp and glossy and shiny. The helmets were so important to me growing up. Kids, toy companies, I don't know if they understand this. Kids fixate on like the certain thing. And for me as a kid, I fixated on the nice, glossy shininess of these helmets and the perfect paint that Bandai always got. I just focused on it so intently. I looked at the helmets all the time, especially the White Ranger. I wanted the White Ranger helmets so bad in toy form. And this just satisfies my soul. I mean, Saba's good. Probably is missing some paint, but they did paint him pretty well. And, I mean, he's got the gold cast instead of painted, but it looks consistent and nice. I mean, it looks good. I mean, I don't really think there's anything wrong with this figure besides could have had the more... It's not faithful to the show. If you want the show stuff, go for the Lightning Collection. Me, personally, I don't care about the show, and Lightning Collection hasn't made... They made all the MMPR guys, but I pretty much have all those I really want. But they haven't made Ninja Storm or Dino Thunder yet. So, they haven't made anything that appeals to me. I will get a Lightning Time Force Blue and a Lightning SPD Blue, because I also loved those growing up. But I also at least wanted to get one of the normal Rangers, and I got the blue for obvious reasons, because blue's my favorite color. And yet again, those helmets, man, they got it. And look at how crisp the paint is. It's so perfect. I mean, it just looks so good, and these figures feel so fun to mess with. I know some people, as soon as the Lightning stuff came out, they're like, yeah, the Legacy stuff is crap, who cares? I mean, if you just care about the show accuracy and you don't like the muscles and all that, I can see what you mean, but I was getting a little too crazy there. That usually stays on really nice. But, I mean, if you really don't like the muscliness and you want show-accurate Rangers, sure. Like, these are not for you whatsoever. But for me, someone who didn't watch the show growing up, someone who actually just bought the toys and wants nostalgia over the toys that were always big and buff, these are the kind of Ranger toys I love! Like, this is for me, man. I love these figures, and a part of me feels like I might end up going back and buying some more. I might get the whole Ranger team, and the whole MMPR team. I shouldn't, but then again, the thrift store kind of gave me a little bit of a nudge to get more, because I actually found this one. I think this is Power Rangers in Space Yellow at the thrift store. No accessories, but, I mean, I found it at the thrift store. And look at the paint on this. I mean, ignore the scuff. I found this at the thrift store. But look at the colors on the chest. And look at that helmet, man. Bandai nails the helmets every time. Like, that is just what appeals to me. I love this. Like, oh my gosh. Yes. But that's not all. Remember, I said earlier that I grew up with Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder. And if you're familiar with the Legacy line, they made all the Dino Thunder guys. And, yeah, kind of bought them all. So I initially found the red and the blue at Walmart. They had them they were misinterpreted in the system. They only rang up for like, I think $6 each. Maybe a little bit more, maybe like $8 each. But yeah, that was a no-brainer for me. They're actually on the shelf. The label said that price. And they scanned for that price, which was crazy. But yeah, these guys, I had toys of them. I had like McDonald's toys, and I had like the Mega Bloks version of him. I actually really loved a Dino Thunder. I mean, the toys and all that. Didn't watch the show, obviously. But look at these guys. Look at the paint on the chest. And of course the helmet's immaculate, as always. Paint super crisp, super great. Like, Bandai does not know the definition of paint slop. They don't. But look at the paint right there on that chest. Look at that gold and that black. Bandai is the king of gold paint. Look at that gold on the neck. Oh my gosh, these things are gorgeous. I mean, sure, like, the morphers aren't fully painted, and I'm sure weapons are missing some details. But you know how Japan always makes those things super, super detailed. You can't get everything on a little action figure like this. But I just, look at that beautiful, crisp paint. And I got those two, and for a while I was thinking, that might be it, because the line was starting to die down, and I was starting to struggle to get some of the other ones. But then I found the Black Ranger. And even though I don't, know Power Rangers too much, I do know This is Tommy, and that is Tommy. I know these are the same guy, which is cool. But look at this guy, man. Look at the Black Ranger. Look at the gold. Look at the gold on him. Oh my gosh. And Bandai also does a really good job with gold plastic, too. They do a really good job. Like, the shoulders are gold plastic, and they look great. His weapon looks really great. I'm sure it's missing paint, like, on the head and everything, but I'm not too... Like, I didn't watch the show. I'm not worried about accuracy. I know that's an important thing for some people, but for me, as just a toy enthusiast that just grew up with Power Rangers toys, this Legacy collection was literally Bandai's toy legacy of Power Rangers. This was like Bandai US's final hurrah. They went back to some of their coolest memories and coolest properties of Power Rangers toys. And they just made the toys as cool as they could for the adult collector that was more interested in the toys than in the show. I probably called it a cartoon at some point. It's basically a cartoon, come on. Look at the helmet paint. Oh my gosh. And of course the chest is absolutely gorgeously painted. Of course it is. So let's put Tommy next to Tommy there. And then I had a toy of this guy growing up that went ching, power up. It's the white. Oh my gosh. I loved the toy I had of this guy growing up. The white ching, power up. I loved that toy. And naturally I had to get this. Absolutely had to. Now I do know that this guy is actually lacking some paint because he is a very intricate design. He actually came in his own unique styled box. The black should continue along the back there, which sucks. I'll probably go back. I might paint that at some point because it is molded. It'd actually be really easy to just do that because the lines are already there. I know that should be white right there. I know that should be black right there on the boots. But I'm not too worried about accuracy because, like I said, I don't have a show to worry about. But I was actually kind of bothered by how little they painted the weapon. So I tried painting it, but it didn't turn out good, so I washed it off recently, and I haven't been bothered to try it again. So just ignore that. I'll try it again when I invest in some better gold paint. Don't worry about it. Just ignore it. It's fine. It's okay. But I can diss on Hasbro because this guy... Let's remember, like I said, Bandai, they know it. They know that the helmet is like, when it comes to a Power Ranger, the helmet is at least 70% of the coolness factor of the costume design. At least 70%. At least. And they did not cut corners with this helmet. It's got the black outline. It's got the red visor. It looks gorgeous. It's got the little red right there. It's a gorgeous helmet. Look at what Hasbro did. They didn't paint the black outline. Hasbro. How could you? How could you do this? Oh my gosh. That is absolutely abhorrent. That is disgusting. That is so not funny. But I mean, detail-wise, like Hasbro got more detail on the belt. They made it look nicer. But then again, Bandai does not know the definition of paint slop. Look at that paint. Look, that is white paint. It's actually, I think, some of the gold paint that I did got on his belly a little bit. But look, that is white paint on his belly. You know how Hasbro can never get white paint right when it's like over a black plastic? Look at Bandai. Look at Bandai US over here. Look at that. Get off of their gold paint. I messed that up big time. But look at that. That's black paint over white plastic. No paint issue whatsoever. Look at the gold trim. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful figure. And they got all of the essential details. Sure, they skipped out on some details on his back. But when are you going to look at his back, man? When are you going to look at his back? And, of course, as always, it's so fun to pose, so fun to mess with. They feel great. And one thing, I've been saving this one for last, because this actually has a lot to talk... burp! This actually has a lot to talk about. I loved the Dino Thunder team, and I really wanted to complete them because I grew up with all of them in a toy form in some shape or another. But I needed to complete the Megazord, and I really wanted the yellow one to complete the team. So this was actually really hard to come by. I found it at GameStop finally, but I did have to pay their upcharge. And, yeah, I mean, it has all the same amazing paint as all the others. The helmet is beautiful. The gold, I'm going to zoom in on her chest. I'm sorry. But look at that gold paint. Gorgeous. And it looks great. And one thing about the female figures, from the waist up, they are some of the most fun female action figures I've ever played with. Look at my pose for the Blue Ranger over there. Like, how many female figures from other companies can pull off poses that cool and fun? It does have just the single elbow, yeah, but it makes such great use of it. And the arms just have such great range, and they can move forward, and she can cross her arms no problem, even though she does have like the big buff, you know, toyetic, pretty big chest there. But that's just... I mean, either Power Rangers toys growing up had... The females either had no chest or a big chest. That's just how it went. Back when I was a kid, I had a chrome toy of the original MMPR Yellow Ranger, but they didn't make it obvious it was the female. And I knew the Yellow Ranger was a female, so I had that gold toy, and I thought, oh, it's a Gold Ranger. It's a guy Gold Ranger, even though it's just a chrome female yellow that doesn't look like a female. But anyways, from the waist up, like, look at that. Look at that articulation, man. Oh my gosh. It's so great. I mean, that is just so great. Sure, the cut's a little odd, but it moves great. Then you get down to the hips. All the females, they just made the skirts too rigid. Oh, Bandai, you're this close to greatness. You're this close to just having some of the most fun action figures ever made, especially female-wise. And the skirts are too stiff. That goes for her, that goes for her, and that goes for her. Look, do you see her pose? The blue? That's the best I could do. It's literally the best I could do. Like, you can see how it wants to flex back. That's all it'll move forward. I mean, the knees you could bend all the way, and you can't actually... The leg articulation under the skirt is great. Like, you can actually get her with her legs crossed, and she'll still stand. Like, that's an amazing, like, feminine pose that I'd love to do with other female figures that I just can't. But with these, like, look at that. Look at how feminine that looks. That's amazing. These are just so posable and great. But those hips, man, they ruined it with those skirts. But yeah, love these figures, man. They're so great. Now, granted, yes, if you care about the show accuracy, if you care about, you know, having the actor likenesses and the show accurate accessories and, you know, the show accurate proportions, Lightning Collection's your thing. Totally. Don't buy these. Go for Lightning Collection. They're making those for you, the Power Rangers show fan. But for me, as someone who just grew up with the toys, that just loved, you know, buff, colorful, armored, helmeted Ranger guys, this is my jam, man. I haven't bought a single Lightning Collection figure yet because, number one, all of these, besides her, I just got her at the thrift store, all of these are like the ones that appeal to me on a spiritual level, right? The ones that really resonate with my childhood, the ones that just... I look at these things on the shelf all the time, and I seriously pulled them all down just to make a video talking about how much I love them, and I've owned them for years. That's how much I love these. I could get rid of all these if I absolutely had to, but the Ninja Storm guys, that was my jam. Like I said, I would have to fall on some seriously, seriously hard times to get rid of that trio of action figures. Those would be the last three Power Ranger toys I would keep before anything, you know, if you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, you didn't just get the action figures. You got Build-A-Zord parts. You could build their Megazords. And since I got the Ninja Storm main cast, and since I got the entire Dino Thunder cast, I got 2 Megazords to show you. So, yeah, I kind of forgot to take them off the shelf. So I'll be right back. I got to take them off the shelf. I'm sorry, I had to actually move him to get to the Megazords. That's my original toy. I actually did paint all the details on the original one. But yeah, I mean, look at that. That appeals to me. I love the new one so much. At least that one got the black on the visor. Yeah, I played with this a lot, if you couldn't tell, because it was cool. He looked cool to me, man. Come on, he's sweet. And he also said, cha-ching, power up. Anyways, I got 2 Megazords to show you, because I was able to build 2. So, they're not fully accurate. I know that they're missing details because, I mean, come on. The Japanese, Super Sentai mecha are always hyper detailed. And when it comes to, you know, toys like this, you're not going to get every single detail. You have to get like the high end, you know, fully, you know, the fully realized ones to get all the details. But for me, for the size, and as someone who doesn't really care about the accurate details because I didn't watch the show and I don't have anything to reference off of, these are sweet bonus. These are sweet, sweet bonus. You only had to buy 3 figures at $20 each to essentially get an extra figure. And that is the Ninja Storm Megazord. He might have another technical name, I don't know. And yeah, he's a fun robot toy. He's not super posable. As you can see, he's really relying on ball joints, so those might loosen over time. But he does have an ankle tilt. I mean, he can pose, man. This was Bandai making an effort to make posable Zords. And I thought that was really cool. So, like, yeah, you have, like, and then again, I mean, look at that. Bandai does not know the definition of paint slop. That looks perfect. Bandai just knows how to paint their toys, man. Hasbro, Mattel especially, please take note. Look at that paint. Just copy off of Bandai of America's homework, please. Because they obviously know how to make the crispest, nicest paint. And then here's the Dino Thunder one. I'm sure he's missing tons of detail down that tail there. But still, like, he's great. Oddly enough, though, he's got, like, the rubber skirt, so you have to kind of move it out of the way. But look at his big old feet. And they got ball joints on him. He's got the big old T-Rex feet. He is super fun. I mean, you did have to buy a lot more figures to finish building this guy. Because you had to buy every single Dino Thunder character. Which makes sense. But, I mean, look at that, man. I love having these. I kind of wish I had the MMPR one. I might go back and buy all the MMPR Rangers. I'm not sure yet, okay? But yeah, these things are sweet. And I kind of wish I would have just bought more of this line, because this is just such a fun line. Look at that pose, man! Look at that pose! Oh my gosh, I love these things. Let's just bring in a couple. Let's bring in him to represent. Looks like a stand. Oh my gosh. My stando. And then here. Dude, they totally just look like stands behind him. Oh my gosh, that's what they look like. Megazord Platinum! Okay guys, there we go. I needed to talk about this line because it's amazing. I love this toy line. It makes me so happy. They look amazing. They remind me of my childhood. They feel great. They feel great. And sure, they don't have tons of the accurate detail, but they're toys, man. I'm all in it for the toys. That's what I grew up with, Power Rangers-wise. That's what I love, was the toys. If you're into the show, these aren't for you. Obviously. Like, I understand why people are going for the Lightning over the Legacy, but I don't feel like the Legacy should ever be called crap, because they're not. They're just different. These things, this didn't celebrate the legacy of the Power Rangers shows, per se. It kind of celebrated the legacy of the Power Rangers toy line, in my opinion. Because they're like the Super 7 Ultimates Ninja Turtles, you know? That's what these are. And the Lightning Collection is like the NECA Ninja Turtles, if that makes any sense. You know, they're like, these are going for the toys, Lightning's going for the, you know, the show. In my opinion, that's kind of what the vibe I get off of these. And I cared about the toys, so I love these. I'm thinking I'm going to go back and get the Mighty Morphin team. I'm thinking I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it. I hate that I'm going to do it, but I think I'm going to do it. Anyways, there we go. I think I've rambled on long enough. I love, love, love these toys, and I just, like I said, I started this channel so many years ago just talking about my love of toys, and this video, I don't know if you could sense the enthusiasm in it, but oh my gosh, I love these things. The memories of Power Rangers. One of my very first memories of being alive was dressing up and playing as him. So yeah, these mean a lot to me. There we go, guys. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Check out my social media links, P.O. Box address, and frequently asked questions down in the description below. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.